Okay, well, my recording's also going.
Okay, I've got my Coke, my sugar in me.
I've got my Coke.
You've got your tea.
It's actually coffee. It's instant coffee even. So it's basically just dirty water.
I like instant coffee though. I'm obsessed with those sachets nowadays. Those sachets.
I
those
don't...
things where you like open and you pour.
Oh, yes. Well, yeah, well, it's basically just like portioned instant coffee then, right? Plain instant black coffee.
I'm not getting the feeling that you're actually liking it right now.
I feel like the dosage of the caffeine that's in it varies. Ooh, nice. Yeah, no, let it all out.
I've had half the Coke bottle.
What? In one go?
No, in like the past hour, but it just kind of releases at moments of spontaneity.
Sure. So you kept all of that in for 1 hour. That must have felt relieving.
It was very relieving, but I felt really bad relieving it.
Yeah, well, anyway, I'm getting like sweaty palms from all this caffeine now all of a sudden, which is...
Let's get going then. But it is 2 o'clock. It's 2 o'clock.
2 o'clock? No, and what? No, it's 5 to 2.
Because that makes such a difference.
Yeah, duh. For a second I thought you were like, oh my god, it's 2 o'clock. Like, oh my god, it's 4:20, or it's like 12 o'clock New Year's Eve, sort of like special time, and it's actually 1:54, which is not special.
Okay, should we start?
Yes, let's start. Ladies first, you are good at doing the
I
introductions.
did the intro last time, but... Okay, I'll do it again. It's
okay,
fine.
go for it. Yeah, I feel like you're in the flow of things.
I've got the Coke.
Yes, exactly. The caffeine is just seeping into my bloodstream right now, so I'm a little bit nervous actually, like sweaty palms, jittery hands. So
I'm also sweaty palms, but I think I'm just like...
Nice.
Okay, hi! Welcome back to our third podcast of the Creative Den podcast. We are BarefeetnHats, and this podcast is basically everything creative. Yeah, we're just gonna share our thoughts, share our concepts, share our bloopers, and share our banter.
Yeah, so it's basically...
I'm Bronwyn, co-host number 1, co-host number 2.
I'm Ben, and basically, yeah, what we're doing is just to provide a little bit of an insight into the creative world and everything that goes around it, or in it, going around our projects.
Around, in, through, up, above,
yes.
That's what creativity is all about.
Yes, and that is why you do the intros and not me. Because I would have been like, hi, I'm Ben, this is Bronwyn. No, okay.
What do we say now?
What are we doing here again? I'm kidding.
I already feel a little bit more relaxed compared to our last podcast.
I feel super nervous, but I think it's because of the coffee.
I think it's the coffee. I think it's the caffeine.
I think the caffeine is literally just like, boom.
It needs to be mentioned that after 2 nights of going out post-lockdown... Yeah. I was laughing at you yesterday about how you looked. I'm sorry.
Because I looked so snaz. Right?
It was quite a sight yesterday. But I don't blame you. I think actually I'm just laughing at you because deep down I'm just really, really jealous that you actually got out.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, it was really nice to be outside again and to actually see people, because I mean, you know the best. Like, I've also been quite strict with the lockdown, and I've been in the lockdown for the last 6 weeks pretty much. So Friday was the first time that we said, okay, let's actually go out and do something. And then Friday was so much fun that we had to just do it again on Saturday, but like throughout the entire day. So elongate the experience a little bit further. And that turned out to be more than strenuous. I think I'm just getting old.
No, I think it's just been a very long time since you've been out. and your body is just not used to actually just walking. I mean, you say your calves are sore, and I think it's actually because you were just walking.
We did, yeah, and I've got blisters on my little toes on the side as well. So
okay, TMI.
but it's been a long
let's just like move this conversation along. I don't want to talk about the blisters on your toes.
I wasn't gonna either, but it's been a very long journey since Friday. Like, I've walked far compared to the 5 weeks before, and it hurts. But what have you done since Friday?
Well, I mean, I'm a dancer, so I understand that pain of stiffness.
Yes, true.
What have I done since Friday? I have finished our video, Pennywise, which has just been released, and today we're actually going to go a little bit behind the scenes. So continuing from blister talk and feet talk, we're going to kind of dive deep into the creative process behind it. We're going to show some bloopers because it was a very tough filming creative process. That's what this podcast is basically about. But before we dive in, I think we should maybe talk a little bit about last week and what kind of happened and what we thought about our dynamic and what we thought didn't work.
Oh, thinking of it makes me choke like straight away.
I know.
No, I definitely agree. Also, why we've basically done 3 episodes now, and throughout every single episode we changed the layout of the podcast. I mean, the reason behind that is basically we are new to this. We are, geez, my hands are like.
Oh, they're shaking. Talk to the camera. Talk to the audience. Maybe I'm making you nervous.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we're new to this. We just want to spread our ideas as well, and within that process, we're obviously still trying to also find our branding, find what works for us now. That the two of us are in completely different countries obviously doesn't help the situation. Always like rely on really crazy good setups and can't sort of like bullshit our way through it. So little tiny errors are spotted straight away, and that's why we're still keeping it like variable and trying to optimize every bit of the way. This is why this thing is also hanging here now.
I mean, that basically sums it up. I think, you know, besides the setup, you know, every podcast we try to find a different way and see what works and what doesn't, which is, you know, we want to share that, and we want to share the fact that like not every episode's going to be perfect, and not every episode is going to be up to our standard, although we want it to. But, you know, we've got to be a little bit easy on ourselves because we are new to this, and you know, we want to share that because I know there's a lot of people that are probably watching that want to start a podcast, but you know, are probably thinking about the little setup and how can you do this and how can you do that. So hopefully we can help that.
And I mean, it's not easy, right? I mean,
no.
even now, just to provide a little bit of insight, just before we obviously set up and we send videos back and forth of the camera angles, where the microphone's positioned, lighting, etc., to sort of like optimize every step of the way a little bit. And even now, maybe tomorrow, the day after, whenever you're done editing, we'll look at it and we'll be like, oh, this is super cool, but, and the but is always there.
100%. Like, I can already see me editing this and I'm like, oh, we should have done this, we should have done that.
Yeah, and it's things, and
but
it's
that's
things
gonna take time.
Yeah, and it's things that you actually only think about once you're busy doing it.
Exactly.
So you can't pre-plan before and say, oh, we got to think of like these 25 things. You're done filming, you're done for the day, you look at the footage afterwards, you start editing, and then you're like, damn it. So,
I want to work my magic. How can I make this funny?
Yeah.
But speaking about comedy and stuff, because we've kind of changed up our style of podcasting, I want to say that. Because last week we tried to academically podcast it.
Yeah. So basically, from our tiny bit of experience that we've had so far.
3 podcasts.
Yes, you have to plan your podcast. And I mean, But you have to know also what kind of podcast you want to go for. If you want to go for like a super educational podcast, then you should do what we did last episode. You have to like prepare all your points, all the things that you want to talk about, the different theory behind different points, highlighted from different angles. Basically prep for a PowerPoint presentation that you were going to present to people.
My brain hurts!
Rather than what we are going for, sort of a creative input to show people the way, how we think, how we approach different topics.
It's more of a creative conversation.
Yes, exactly.
You know, we don't actually have to say to the camera, okay, this is what we think, this is what we're talking about, blah, blah, blah.
And that's also why
we're getting passionate about this. We're like,
yes, but it's good. And that's why we said, okay, we're not going to actually pre-pick a topic that we want to speak about, right? Because last episode we said, okay, we're going to talk about toxic productivity. So both of us went and we were like, okay, toxic productivity. And both of us had like strong points prepared and wanted to bring them across, but never really had the chance to do so because it wasn't like a normal conversation.
When we have our own notes, it naturally, no matter if we're on the same wavelength or on the same side, it turns into a debate. And it turns into something that, like, even if we're arguing for the same point, we're still in that kind of arguing, okay, well, but my point's better than yours type.
Yeah. Which usually comes from me because my points are always better.
Funny enough,
I know you're going to crop that out in any case.
No, I won't. I told you, I'm not going to. That's also another thing I'm going to do differently for this podcast is I'm not going to crop out a lot because, number one, it saves time for me.
That's the truth.
That's the truth. But number two, like, I want it to be natural, and I think last time it just, with the whole failed green screens and the cartoon background and the serious topic, it just didn't mesh. And that translated in us speaking that way. Anything else you want to add with that?
No, just that BarefeetnHats and the Creative Den stands for a creative conversation between two people with different backgrounds, less than an educational podcast where we just talk about researched stuff. Obviously, we do the research. Oh my goodness, yes, go. I mean, I cannot interrupt that. Go.
Our tagline. Are you ready? Are you ready?
Yeah,
Creative Den, a creative conversation by BarefeetnHats.
Brought to you by BarefeetnHats. But that's a big ass tagline. That's like...
That is quite a big tagline. We're going to have to shorten that somehow.
Yeah. Wait, but where are you going to put that tagline? In like the beginning of the podcast?
No idea, but that could be like something in line with our intro. You know, like we need to come up with something that's recognizable in the beginning, and we'll be like, I am Bronwyn, I am Ben, and we are BarefeetnHats, the Creative Den, where we have a creative conversation.
Yeah, but then brought to you by BarefeetnHats doesn't make sense anymore. It's fine. At least we don't have a purpose yet. We have a tagline. We don't have a purpose for the tagline. That's totally okay. We'll find a purpose.
Okay, well, let's move on to the next, like, I want to say bullet point, but we're not structuring it so much in this podcast, is we are going to chat a little bit about our recent video that we uploaded last week. And yeah, we're just going to speak about the concept, about the behind the scenes. We're going to show you some bloopers.
My original question was, if you haven't seen the video, go watch it. It's wherever there's space somewhere, and wherever it fits on the screen. The whole point of it was to take Pennywise, the dancing clown, as like the main theme, and then write a piece of music about that picks up on that theme and describes it, highlights it a little bit in the environment of a cool tune. So I actually loved your tagline that you used on that photo that you uploaded. You said something like groovy, dark, sexy, bouncy track. I can't
remember, but I used a lot of adjectives.
Yeah, and they fit. So watch it, and then you know what we're talking about.
Ben and I tried something different for a change this week, and that was to not share our concepts, mine video and his song, throughout the week. Needless to say, we were very quickly not happy with that way of dealing with things.
Yeah.
We can't not communicate. We have to share concepts. We're a team. Like, we can't not just not show each other stuff.
True.
I created this video completely by myself, and he created the song.
To which you were opposed to in the beginning. But
I can't remember, but I don't want to mention that again.
So important, at least to me. So I want to make 100% sure that this thing's on tape. So
okay, go for it.
I shared the beat with you at first and the bass by itself, and she was very happy with it. She was like, "Oh, it's like it moves. It's got a groove to it." And then I don't know how I got this brilliant idea, which seemed brilliant at the time, but not to her, to add in this like horror theme based on Pennywise, adding in extra like creepy circus noises and playground noise, etc. Told you about it, and then you're like, "Yeah, that's a cuck idea. Let's not do it."
I think it was an idea that I was so doubtful about that I actually slept on it.
What do you mean you slept on it?
Like, you sent it to me and you're like, you know what, listen to it tomorrow and then
true.
like see.
True, I did say that. Yeah. And then the next day you were like, "No, actually it's really good. It suits it." So
I don't think I said really good. I was like, okay,
you said
fine,
really good.
continue with it.
She said really good. For sure. 100%.
That's the defensive mode coming out again. Like the last podcast, which we don't want to look back on.
True.
But we're going to keep it uploaded because we want you guys to see the journey as creatives, what we've done and where we're going and all of that jazz. Okay, let's go into Pennywise. I think we've babbled enough about our other stuff.
Did you also think for a second that the call stopped?
Yes. As soon as you kind of like froze, I was like...
I saw it in your face. And literally I would have been like, "Oh gosh, now the call's stopping as well." This irritated look, you're like...
I would have literally just edited the video and it would be like, "Sorry, we gave up."
Okay, but we were on the same page there for a second. It was like,
yeah,
no.
also because we both looked at each other and we were like,
"Say something." Okay, let's get to the actual conversation. So, watch the video that Bronwyn made of that Pennywise theme of the song. And I have prepared questions for you. Well, not really prepared. I'm basically just going to ask you on the fly. But obviously, I have questions.
I mean, you've got a pen in your hands, and now I feel like you can.
Yeah, but that's because I've had coffee and my fingers are a little bit like jittery.
You need a fidget spinner.
Yeah. So, but if you watch the video and you don't have questions, then I have questions to each individual that has seen the video. So you should definitely have questions when you see that video, right? I mean.
Yeah, 100%. If you haven't watched the video, you actually have to watch the video before we speak about it, because I think if you just watch us speaking about it, you'd be like, "What?
Something's wrong with these two."
Did you really do that?
True. So, question actually, what did you do to prepare the concept, to prepare for the video? So where did you get the idea from to put stockings on your head and then dance in front of a white wall?
So our initial vision for this, and something that, you know, besides the fact that Ben created the song and then I created the video, we still had the same vision, and that just kind of speaks to, you know, we're kind of on the same wavelength when it comes to creative projects and stuff. I initially, because we spoke about it, about having like an old themed Pennywise video, and initially I was just going to kind of get some footage off of YouTube and morph it together for some sort of story. Ooh, I feel a burp.
Oh.
Sorry.
And it's like right in my ear as well. It's like different if someone's across the table.
I felt it like in my throat.
Ew.
I felt it in my throat and I was like, "It's coming!"
Let it rip. I felt that vibrate in my ears. But anyways. No,
okay, so and then as I started to do it, I actually battled with inspiration. So I ended up then doing some research on Pennywise itself and the philosophy or the inspiration from it when it comes to the actual books from Stephen King. And You know, I found out that it was actually inspired, or there's theories, inspired by a true story about a serial killer dressing up as a clown and such. You know, we don't really know if that's true or not. Stephen King hasn't really expressed in detail where his inspiration came from.
Have you actually tried to look for like statements from him?
Yeah, I tried, and it's all very vague.
Yeah.
And you know, I think him being the genius and the creative that he is, you know, it's almost like a magician. You kind of want to keep your secrets to yourself.
Fair enough.
I mean, if I was a writer and I created that story and it was based on my mother or something, you know, I would never say it was based on my mother.
Yeah, if your mother, I don't know, turned into a clown all of a sudden and started eating kids, you would be like, yeah, I'm not going to say that that's my mom.
It's like, taste this cake, sweet daughter, made of human brains.
Not nice.
And my mom's even baked a nice chocolate cake, and now I'm gonna look at that and I'm gonna be like, what if that's human feces? No, I'm kidding. That
went deep and dark. So
Speaking
creepy.
about human feces, actually, there's a shot that I didn't include. Actually, no, I did include, but I edited the out of it. That actually looks like poo. It actually looks like a smear of poo, which is included in the bloopers, which we will reveal later. Ben hasn't watched the bloopers to add some spontaneity.
Yeah.
So anyways.
So you read up and tried to find like statements on the creation of it.
Yeah. So I read up and I tried to understand the psychology behind Pennywise.
And what did you find?
I tried to understand like that he's afraid of courage and heart, that he's a shapeshifter, and that he feeds off fear.
Wait, so he's afraid of courage?
Yeah, so in the movie, when I think it's the Losers Club or something, when they come together and they actually fight off Pennywise as a whole, as a group, with courage and heart and whatever, that's what destroys him. So, but then I got the inspiration mostly from his shape-shifting side, and that he comes across as very, like a number of different characters in the movie.
Okay.
That's where the whole black stocking morph suit came into place.
Yes.
Because I wanted to kind of, in a minimalistic way, portray Pennywise as these different shapes and forms. And to do that in a minimalistic way without having to like have elaborate costumes and elaborate makeup and stuff. Okay, so all black.
Yeah, so it's basically, I mean, you didn't really use makeup, but you used paint as props. But what you basically tried to portray was or the black morph suit was supposed to portray the character or the soul of the character more than the outer physical form of the character. 100%.
And when I did those weird movements, I wanted the movement and the personality of Pennywise to come through the movement, and the personality of the demon, and the personality of like capturing someone, and like all of these like shaking weird movements is like his soul trying to escape from, you know, the evil being that he's become.
Sure, you really put some thought into this, hey?
I did. I did, and I think sometimes when I speak about my ideas, like what I'm saying now, like I didn't actually think about, but they're just coming.
So like, it would sound good.
Based on
like it sounds clever now. I'm just gonna say it.
Look, no, I mean I did think about it quite a lot before, about especially the shape-shifting whole side of it, but the whole taking over and the soul reaching out to be released and all of that jazz only came when I was editing it.
That's very cool. I mean, that's basically also how the songs build up, right? Like it starts off super minimalistic. You hear these like really weird sounds, and then it keeps on like adding after a while. Yes, that is the normal structure of a song as well, but it fits good to your concept as well. I'm actually quite amazed how I had an idea of the song in the beginning, like what I wanted it to look like.
Yeah.
And then without talking about actual film concept, like I never told you what I'm seeing, when I would like create the song, but obviously I didn't see it one-to-one as you did, but you pretty much nailed the application of what I thought a video could look like without having like spoken to each other.
I mean, it's quite interesting to think about that, like we are on that same, I mean, like without even, because I didn't share any sort of video creation with you, and you didn't share any sort of video idea with me, and it's interesting that we kind of like...
You wanted it though.
Intertwined our ideas.
You wanted feedback from me initially.
I 100% did.
Like...
No, every single day I wanted to phone you and I was like,
I want to do this, but what do you think? And do you have any ideas? And do you have any suggestions?
And then when I messaged you, can I
send a snippet? You're like,
no.
Yeah, because what I actually said was, I said, okay, look, you're the artist of this video. And if you as the artist are super happy with your result, which doesn't happen very often, like usually when you release something, you're like,
yeah, I like it, but it's good enough.
Because I mean, you can always go back to it, change things, add effects here, wada. So I said, if you as an artist are happy with your result and you share it with me, I can guarantee you that I will also be happy with what you did. And voila.
However, I do think that if I didn't have at the back of my head saying, okay, well, I need to release it by this date, I need to show Ben by this date, I wouldn't have had the motivation to do it myself. You know, having you, it's almost like an accountability partner. The only reason why I managed to create the whole video myself was because you were there at the back of my mind, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to show him on Sunday or on Saturday, and I want him to be happy, you know? In a way, we didn't really work on the project separately because we both had each other's input somehow in the back of our heads.
Fair enough. But you actually said that, like before you sent it to me, you said that you had this other idea with a filter or something.
Yeah,
which you never really showed me, and then you said I'll send you 2 layouts, and I was like, no, go with your gut, go with what you think is better. But I'm still curious, what was the other layout?
When you watch the video, you'll see that the whole video is black and white. And initially when I started editing it, I wanted to go completely against the grain and edit it in such a way that it was very, very colorful. So there's this style, I use DaVinci Resolve for my editing. There's a style in DaVinci Resolve that kind of makes everything almost like an oil paint, and it like it blotches all of the pixels, and whether or not they're like white or black, it makes them some sort of color, but you can still see the shape. So I wanted to do that because it would be completely unexpected.
So it would turn the video into like an sort of like LSD, DMT sort of trip.
Exactly. No, 100%. And I was like, okay, well, when you watch this, you're going to be like, what is that? What is making that shape? And then I think it was almost like a lazy solution to combining some videos that I wanted to use from YouTube and the videos that I created. Because if I put the same style on each of them, it just looks a little bit more cohesive. But then I felt like it overpowered the actual content.
And I mean,
so I changed back to black and white.
If you look at the video now, I feel like if you added this like explosion of colors to it, it would have missed the actual portray of what you were trying to show. Whereas now, when you watch it straight away, the music and the video are in sync, and the music expresses the same emotion as does the video. So I think if we like the idea, I still want to see it, just because I'm curious as hell what it looks like. But I think the choice that you made to say, okay, I'm going to go with my gut and stick to black and white was the right one.
Thank you. But I think also if I did use the other style, I probably would have edited the video differently. Because I wouldn't have chopped and changed, and you know, there's a lot of shots where
more like arty-farty,
you know, it's upside down. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm upside down, I'm sideways, I'm like distorted.
Whoa. Yes. How did you?
You've got a question.
Yes, that one shot. Yes. I was like, Because all of a sudden, like, your feet are here and the rest of the body is like literally floating, and I was like, how? And I stopped the video and went through it frame by frame to see whether I could like find a line in the middle so that you basically took two pictures and just put them together, but you didn't.
I don't know, I feel like a magician right now. I don't know if I want to describe how I actually did that shot. I mean, I can tell you later, but I don't know. Okay, no, I will share how I did it. So there's two hanging shots. The first hanging shot is just my feet dangling. And then the second hanging shot is my feet dangling and then my body's dangling as well.
Yes, and that shot I'm speaking about.
How I created, first of all, there are two different shots.
I knew it. Okay.
They are two different shots, and the magic spell is called blending modes. In both videos, I was dressed in full black and the background was white. It blended very, very well. So throughout the whole video, I played around with the blending options quite a lot to make them seem like I was in the same room.
Right, okay, makes sense. So what you're basically saying, if you had taken the one video on like a more grey background and the other one on a more white, you would have seen the line clearly.
No, not necessarily, because a lot of DaVinci Resolves, I feel like this is an ad for DaVinci Resolve now. A lot of DaVinci Resolve's options, you must play around with
not sponsored.
Yeah, I mean, not sponsored. A lot of the shots that I did, I played around with the blending modes, and you'll see that it's actually, even if I have a different background, it blends. DaVinci Resolve is a very, very powerful program, and it blends extremely well. So that's how I did the blending. But how I did the heat hanging. What?
The feet hanging. For a second, I was also, you got me confused as I was like,
the heat.
What are we talking about now?
I recorded that upside down. I was on my back with my feet against the wall. And because the ceiling was very low, I could quickly rotate the image and it would look like the ceiling was the floor.
You're right, it is like magic. It's like you see the magic happening, you're like, whoa! And then the trick is explained and you're like, yeah, I guess that makes sense. I'm still as amazed. Don't get me wrong.
I'm like, oh.
No.
Okay.
The amazement is still there as before. Here's another question.
Yes.
Actually,
Next.
I've got two more before we go to the bloopers, because otherwise we're going to run out of time.
Okay.
Which, if you look at your end product now, is your favorite scene within the music video?
That's a tough one, because I think I'm a little bit biased, because I will naturally choose the scene that was most fun to do.
Yeah, but that's fine.
And that's definitely the bucket.
I'll give you a virtual high five for that. For sure. That was
definitely the bucket scene.
Incredible. I did not expect that at all. It came out of nowhere.
The idea about that is I actually just found it in the basement that I was recording, and I was like, this would actually be cool if I just put it on my head. Anyways, after recording, I found out it was a compost bucket at some point, which and I put that on my head. But I did clean it before, but it's still kind of gross to think about the fact that I put it on my head. But you know what? The things we do for creativity.
Yeah. But there were two buckets, right? Because in the one that was like this massive sort of a pyramid shape, and the other one was like a bucket with holes in it, and I think you also put a light in it at some point. Right?
So I had 4 different props.
4 different buckets.
So I had a compost bucket, the triangular one.
Yeah, the crown.
A dustbin.
Oh, that sounds like...
So that is the shiny thing, because it has the dustbin is like metallic with holes in it.
Yeah.
So then when I put it on my head, I could put a light in it, and I could like basically be like a moving lighthouse. And then the third one was a lampshade. Okay.
Wait, are all 4 props in the video as well?
Yes.
Oh wow, I only spotted 2 so far.
And then the 4th one is a gold...
Wow.
I want to say it's like a gold bag.
Damn, you should have just stopped at gold. You were like, It was gold. I was like, whoa.
Whoa!
Like, that must have been expensive. And then you're like, bag.
No, I
and
think
I'm
it was like a-
no. That was by far my favorite scene in the whole video as well. Because it came out of nowhere. And for some up reason, it fits so perfectly as well. And
Because of the shape-shifting idea.
so
and that is why I wanted
take
to
the
put the
reason out
bucket
of
on.
it now, it does make sense why it fits. But also how you have the bucket on your head and you like kind of like gangster walked to the beat. I was like, oh, this is nailed it.
So I recorded that scene, I think, on Thursday. Friday. Oh my word. I woke up and I could not move my neck. I was like, whoa. Whoa. It was so sore. And the
Seized
back,
up here completely.
the
It's like,
back of my neck. Because it was heavy. I mean, that thing is so heavy. I was holding it with one hand like this.
Yeah.
And I was doing the walk like this.
and every single time as you lean back, you're like, oh my god. Oh my god, it's heavy.
I think this is a great time to go to the bloopers because you'll see
Okay.
all of my struggles that happen.
Okay, should we start? Blooper number 1.
Do you want to stop and start or do you want to watch the whole bloopers?
No, let's stop and start. So you tell me when to. Or we'll
Okay.
just either of us just shout stop, okay? But we press play. I'm so excited. I can't even talk all of a sudden. We press play at the exact same time. So it's 1, 2, 3, and then press, not 1, 2, press.
Okay.
Okay.
So 1, 2, 3, press.
Yes. So you
Or
basically.
not 1, 2, 3.
No, you press on 4.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, press.
Got it.
Are you really dying?
You're not going to be able. Yeah. Okay, try.
Thou is the creative.
Okay, stop.
Are you watching it already?
Yeah. I'm on 23 seconds now. Where your folks in the background,
wait.
their reaction is exactly the same as mine would have been. Like, isn't this heavy? Oh, what's your neck, darling?
Wait, have you watched the whole video?
No, I stopped it at 23 seconds. Okay, hold on. Let me.
Okay, wait.
Let me keep.
Should we go back to the beginning
Okay,
or from
okay.
23 seconds?
Should I just-
go back to the beginning.
Okay, I'll just watch it in
Let's
one
watch
go.
it through.
Okay, it's just 1.5
Yes,
minutes.
I was about to say because there's too much to talk about.
Go.
1, 2, 3, press.
Do not judge the movements on the body. Partake it.
When your cat runs in and you get a fright.
You're not going to be able. Yeah. Okay, try.
Thou is the creative.
That's what I thought.
Where did you have that live?
I just can't see. I am a firefly, my butt is on fire.
I can be a freak. I can be a freak.
Looks like you're a giant camera flash head. That's better.
Okay, wait. What?
Happy to receive the pictures.
Alright, I was gonna point to you. I'm not.
I'm upside down right now.
Okay.
I am so happy that.
Okay. Well, that looks like poo.
This looks like poo. Okay. Phew. Wait, now lock the phone. Hold on, I gotta get your video back. Completely lost.
I can't
track
see
now
your
of what
eyes.
Oh, sorry. Let me fix that. There we go.
I was looking at your chest, and for a moment I was totally happy with it, but you know, I also wanted to see your face.
Now you're making me blush. the bloopers.
Next question of about
The
bloopers.
fact that you got my phone call in the blooper is so priceless. Where you and I remember that conversation where I called you. I'm like,
what are you doing? And you're like,
I'm upside down. I'm filming for the video.
and I was like, okay, yeah.
I'm not even gonna ask. Like, okay, I'll talk to you later. Bye.
You know, my dad watched it and he was like, you know what, he's doing great because he's just saying yes, dear. He's not questioning. He's not asking why. He's not asking how. He's just, okay, you do you, boo. Like, not even gonna
Go
ask.
for it.
Any other questions you have with regards to Pennywise? Because I feel like we've kind of described it a
I think
lot.
if we go into more detail, I guess we kind of take away from the curiosity to actually see it. Before we get into any further depth, I feel like we should cut the podcast here.
Yes,
otherwise
I think so too,
we're
because we've
hugely
already
running out of time.
So if
But
you
that's
are
alright.
still watching us, thank you. We appreciate you. We love you.
Very much.
Yes.
I've got another point. We are trying to get a third party onto the podcast.
Well, we've got a few in the pipeline that we want to.
But like, I just want to like announce it now.
Oh, we're announcing it.
That-
Oh, this is a formal
Well,
announcement, guys.
like I'm not gonna announce the actual names because
Okay.
they're not like set in stone yet.
Fair.
So it's all like to be confirmed. But we are planning to get other artists into the podcast to talk to them. Yeah, just to try and find out how they think, like what makes their clocks tick, basically, right?
I've never heard of that analogy before. But it makes sense. It makes sense.
Nor have I actually thinking about it now.
Did you just make that up now?
Yeah, I was like, I actually wanted to say to find out how they tick, and I was like, nah, not spicy enough.
And
Find
then
out
in your
what
brain
makes
you were
their
like,
clocks
clock,
tick.
Tick.
Yes, that's the whole point behind it, and it's gonna be creatives from different fields, right?
Yes.
So painters, graphic designers, musicians. Do you have anyone else so far?
Singers, choreographers.
That's
we've got a
choreographers,
choreographer
yes.
that is interested. So like, subscribe. We will be uploading in the next 2 weeks again. Check out our Pennywise video and let us know what you think in the comments. Thank you for 200 followers
Oh,
on
yes.
Facebook. We hit the 200 mark and we were like, we're millionaires.
Yes, true. I completely forgot about that. Yes, we wanted to say thank you for that. Actually, I mean, we have to cut it short, but I love reading mails from people that write to our page. Like, it's the fun, whether it's negative or positive doesn't matter. But it's
We
like
hated your
the
stuff.
funnest
I'm so
thing.
glad we affected you.
Yes, exactly. Like I always approach it with that attitude. Like, it's nice that you take the time to write us, but I love doing it, and we have been getting a couple of mails as well. And I promise that every single mail that we get will always be answered. Or is that? No, I think
No,
that's,
we'll
that's
always answer it. We're people's people,
Yeah.
and like if you have something bad to say it, you know, say it. Bad to say it. Yeah. Because I mean, we love
and
feedback.
the the music video is also based on it.
Yeah, I was also, that's why that was going in my head.
That's
like,
why you hesitated
If
for
you
a
say
second.
it, wait, it, say
Yeah.
it, Pennywise, what? Brain.
Yeah. Thank you for watching. And we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Stay bare feet. Oh, I'm not bare feet. I have
stay-
socks on. Hang on. Bare feet.
I am though. I am. I'm not gonna raise my.
But you
sneakers
can't
from
lift your
ground.
leg up.
Yeah, and that A and B. I'm wearing really ugly pants actually.
Okay, wait.
Just
My
gym
feet are.
pants.
I'm gonna do like a little. Okay, we're done.
Okay, good. No, I'm wearing the hat. You're barefooted. Sweet. Okay, I'll stop recording.
BarefeetnHats.
Do you want a balloon too, Georgie? Oh, well, I'm Pennywise the dancing clown.